On Monday, Doug Peterson said he was good. On Tuesday, Rodney McLeod said he was fine. But he's not good. He's not fine. He's out for the season. McLeod had surgery Wednesday morning on a torn MCL, and now the Eagles have a safety problem. What are they going to do? Well, my immediate reaction, they're probably going to start Corey Graham in that single high role that Rodney McLeod plays. So that would be my guess early on. In terms of free agents, in terms of moves, I mean, they had their chance during the summer. There were a bunch of guys available. Eric Reed was just signed by the Carolina Panthers, so he's now gone. But late in the summer, you had guys like Kenny Vaccaro, guys like Trey Boston, Tyvon Branch. You could have signed them to be your third safety. Now, obviously, the Eagles, they went the Corey Graham route because he knew the defense and obviously was a big part of their success last year. So the fact that they brought in Corey Graham and not one of these other guys, I mean, obviously it was understandable at the time. Now, the unfortunate thing now is because the injury happened in week 3, all those guys that I mentioned are now gone and signed. So who is left? Well, I did some digging. There are a couple guys still out there. So I don't know if Howie Roseman would want to go the free agent route or would potentially trade for somebody. In terms of guys that are out there that are free agents, I'm looking at 2 names, and I don't even know if they're realistic. Mike Mitchell, I think, is realistic. He's 30 years old. I mean, he's not what he once was, but if you want to bring him in, okay, it's potentially something that could happen. This next name is a little bit more unrealistic, but I'm going to bring it up because it makes me laugh because only a couple years ago, many Philadelphia fans wanted this guy. The Eagles signed Malcolm Jenkins instead, and the rest is history. Jarris Byrd, 31 years old, still a free agent. Now, I would think that somebody would have signed him, so the fact that he's still free agent says actually a lot. The other thing that could happen, and I don't know if the Eagles would do this, because it seems like Doug Peterson is a guy that doesn't like moving pieces around. You got Rasul Douglas. You've got Jalen Mills. Would you want to play one of those guys at safety? If there's a guy that can play the single high role, it's Rasul Douglas. Now, I don't know if he's a short tackler yet, but I know he's got the ball skills. I don't know. I mean, the fact that the Eagles didn't draft a safety in last year's draft, it kind of tells me that at some point in the future, they might consider moving one of their cornerbacks to safety. But I don't know if they would do it at this point in time. I don't know if they would. Just by gauging how Doug Peterson is and how Jim Schwartz is and how they honestly just don't like moving pieces around. I mean, they talked about it even with Dallas Goedert last week. Like, he's playing the Richard Rodgers role, and they want him to stay in that Richard Rodgers role. They don't want him to move and play the Trey Burton role because if he's Trey Burton, then all of a sudden they got to move other pieces around. And Doug Peterson doesn't want to do that. So I don't know if Rasul Douglas or Jalen Mills is moving the safety. What I can see potentially happening is them getting safety snaps and you're playing like kind of a hybrid role. I can potentially see that where Jalen Mills kind of matches up with tight ends on some occasion because he's better against physical players. We saw it against Eric Ebron on Sunday, and we even saw it against Gronkowski in the Super Bowl. Mills got him twice in the red zone. So maybe that's something that they would do. Obviously, the big name on the market is Earl Thomas. Would the Eagles want to do something like that? Would they part ways with a second-round pick? Would the Seahawks even take a second-round pick for Earl Thomas? That's obviously the other big name out there. Another thing that's not really being talked about with this injury, at least I haven't seen yet, is this big nickel package. I mean, the big nickel package was responsible for hiding the depth at linebacker last year. Corey Graham, Rodney McLeod, Malcolm Jenkins. I mean, when they played the big nickel, it allowed Malcolm Jenkins to play more snaps at linebacker. So are they going to scrap the big nickel package now? We'll see. So a lot of questions right now. This is a big loss, Rodney McLeod. I mean, this isn't something that's going to be easy to replace. Well, it's more. I think it's more so. Yeah, it's not easy to replace, but like it's the depth now and the big nickel, and like we'll see what happens. The Eagles are in a conundrum here, so there's that. Those are my thoughts. Rodney McLeod, he's out for the season. Take care.